What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today. It is the 15th day of August. Here we are at about 63K with roughly 10 hours left in the day. Hit that like button, subscribe, and thank you all for being here. Let's get into it. Okay, let's talk about the short-term stuff, go over what to expect over the coming days, and then we'll go over the more midterm stuff, longer-term stuff, end-of-cycle stuff as the video goes on. The short-term stuff will not take much time at all. It's actually going to be kind of hilarious how quick it is. Okay, so it's the weekend. It is Saturday. Typically on the weekend, what we do is nothing. We just move sideways, right? This was Friday. At the end of Friday, it was Saturday right here. Right there, there's Saturday. And then here's Monday's beginning right here. We literally did nothing. We just moved sideways. So I expect over the next 2 days, we might move up from here, we might move down from here, but likely we will be somewhere right around this level come Monday. If we move up by Monday, we will move down going into the week. If we move down by Monday, we will move up going into the week. Does that make sense? It's not any form of analysis, it's just statistically guided, historically backed results. That's all. Or historically guided, statistically backed results. Would that be better? Same thing, but I think the second one was better. The RSI looks bearish. The stochastics look bearish. The MACD is bearish. All of these are bearish, meaning we might come down. But again, it's the weekend, so not by much. It's the 1 hour time frame, not by much. 4 hour time frame, also bearish. Pretty bad. You just flipped green on the MACD, which is nice. Maybe, again, just moving sideways. You reset these indicators a little bit. But still, again, not the best look. We get into the daily time frame, and this bearish shape really starts to come to life. We look at this here. I mean, you're aimed for the oversold zone in your RSI, the oversold zone in your stochastics, rejecting the overbought zone here, and the MACD crossing below the zero, building bearish momentum here after a false cross to the upside. All these things together, man, I'm having a hard time believing that from this range that we break to the upside. I'm having a hard time believing that. We go to CoinGlass, we go to our liquidation levels, and I'm pretty sure there's more shorts than there are longs. You guys remember the all-time highs? Do you remember them? I remember them. Yeah, these all-time highs right here, 126K. Do you remember what was weird about the all-time highs here? Do you remember this whole drop? You know what was weird about this whole drop? Is that shorts dominated compared to longs. There were more shorts than longs throughout this whole drop. There were more shorts than longs throughout this whole drop. So the fact that we go on here, we go into CoinGlass, and everybody on X.com is saying, oh, there's more shorts than longs. Oh, there's more shorts than longs. 30 days, 7 days, whatever. Over this, it's going to be pretty neutral because it's just the weekend. It's on the daily. A lot of people I see are having these kind of theories that what's going to happen is we move down a little bit, clear out some of the longs, and then we'll move back up and clear out the shorts. But I don't think that's going to happen. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. I think we're going to see something just like this, just like this, just like this. I think these shorts are either spoofed or they're right. Whatever the case may be, they're going to make money as this thing moves down. We've seen it happen now at least twice in this bear market where the shorts have dominated the longs and we've still moved down. And here we are in the same kind of dynamic now. If we take this out of the equation, there's really nothing bullish at all about this chart. The only thing bullish is this data, which we don't know how reliable this data is. I mean, it is fairly accurate, but this can change like that, right? It's very easily manipulatable. Okay, so don't rely on this like this is your bread and butter. Trust the TA. Use this as a secondary. Use it for areas of significance, maybe points of interest in the price. If we move up, if we move down, whatever. I digress. The main point here that I'm trying to address is that I think we're going to see lower prices. Not over the coming days. Over the coming days, we're going to move sideways, right? But then over the coming weeks, by the end of this month, my theory is that we will see prices that are below 60K. We will be getting below 60K by the end of this month. That's my suspicion. That's my expectation. Here we are at 63K now. If not by the end of this month, then by the end of September, we should see lower prices, and maybe October. This bear market, everybody, including myself, I feel like is projecting this bear market to end before October, if not in October. A lot of us are thinking October or earlier for the end of the bear market. What if we're all wrong? What if the bear market ends after October? What if it ends after 2026? We could be exceptionally boring and see our bear market finale come in 2027. It can happen. We could have a right translated cycle instead of a left translated cycle like everybody's expecting. But I don't know. Time will tell. My call is still that we're going to kick off this finale phase, a move like this, a sudden shift, any day now. In fact, we might look back in 2 weeks and say that this was the starting point. This was the starting point to, like here, this big drop, the starting point was back here. We might be in the equivalent zone as that right there, or this right here, or this right here, the starting point for this next shift to the downside. And without going into too many details, my expectation is that we will bottom somewhere around $43,000 to $53,000. We will bottom probably somewhere around these lows here or these highs here. That's my expectation. That gives us a price again around mid 40s to upper 40s, low $50,000 price range. Something below 55K, something above 40K. That's the ultimate expectation. And with a heavy emphasis right on that 50K level. I think we're going to see that very soon. Very, very soon. And what happens afterwards, as far as price action is concerned, should be something like this. Something kind of stagnant and sideways, volatile. Maybe like the last bear market. There's an initial pump. You pumped up 10% there. That's nice, right off the lows. Maybe an initial pump here, 18%. That's nice as well. But you're still moving sideways week after week. And then you get your real surge. Oh, this is just a fake one. It's like everything else in the bear market. We're going to drop lower, except we don't. And then people start to believe the bull market's on. There's still going to be a dominant amount of people in the space who are skeptical that the bull market's alive. But once we get a higher high, that's whenever the bull market's alive. I have a theory. Because of this high right here, because of this, it's going to be so off-putting. It's going to... What's the word I'm looking for? It's going to validate the bears more than the bulls whenever we do this. But I think we're going to see the lows come in, move sideways, whatever, and then whenever we pump up, this will be our higher high. But the bears are going to say it's a lower high. It doesn't count. It's not a higher high here. And then we're going to see some type of a move down. The bears will feel vindicated. Really, though, all we're forming is a higher low. The bulls might be shaky in their positions. The majority of the market is going to think that we might still be in a bear market. Maybe we are still getting lower highs. And at that point of capitulation where it's obvious support, that'll be when we really start to kick off the bull market. And that could be, the way that I'm drawing it here, late 2027, which that kind of actually lines up very well with my thoughts. All I'm saying here, if you're paying attention, for the long term, shifting out of the midterm, going to the long term, is that sure, midterm, short term, we might drop down to around 50K. By the end of the year, if not early 2027, we should be back around this price here, if not likely higher, back above 70K. And if I'm right, we probably won't see prices above 80K until late 2027 at the earliest. The second half of 2027 at the earliest. Because again, we're going to get the confirmation. We're going to get the higher high. It's going to be the confirmation that we need technically on the charts, but people are going to have a hard time wrapping their minds around this. Just like they did back here. Right? Bear market was over whenever we got above it here. People had a hard time wrapping their minds around that the bear market was over here. But then once we started, we kept pumping. Same thing here. Right? You had the higher high. People had a hard time acknowledging that the bear market was over. You even actually had a higher high here. We moved sideways. It gave that doubt, but then the bull market really kicked off. And by that time, you're already a good bit through the bull market. So again, watch for that doubt. Watch for that weariness. That's so far away. I don't know why we're talking about it so much here, but there's just nothing really else to talk about. I mean, we've been moving sideways for so long. And I guess this is my play in being a Nostradamus or a accurate forecaster. I'm telling you, man, it's going to happen just like this. Maybe not exactly like this, but the psychology of the matter, the environment, the atmosphere that we're going to see is despair, capitulation, disbelief, false validation to the bearish effect, and then the bulls come alive. Then we officially have a higher low, a higher high here. We get above that high. But again, this will be, if this all happens the way that I think it will, it'll take time. It's going to take a lot of time. I'm saying this part because I really want to emphasize how much time it's going to take. If anybody thinks, okay, the bear market's almost over, that means 100K is going to happen by the end of this year, you're crazy. You're not hearing me, and you're not thinking logically. You're not thinking based off of every historical occurrence that we've seen with Bitcoin at any bear market low. I don't care that midterms are coming up. I don't care if there's bullish fundamental things going on with crypto. Trump could say that he's going to buy $1 billion worth of Bitcoin tomorrow. I don't care. We're still going to not be above 80K probably until late 2027 at the earliest, like the second half of 2027. That'd be my guess. If I'm wrong and we see some exceptional growth in that time, great. I'd be pleasantly surprised. That's not historically what we've done. And again, the reason why we're talking about this is to prepare you mentally. A lot of people think that the hard part is sitting through all this. And it is. It is hard. The hard part really is sitting through this. It's sitting through that. The hard part is sitting through this, okay? Where you're just moving sideways for like a year. You're just moving sideways. That's the, and then even then you pump and then you're still moving sideways, you know? That's the hard part. You could be bullish. The reason why it's hard is because you could think this is the bear market low. You could be bullish here. You could have done it right. But then somewhere along the way, you get bored. You think, oh my God, what if it does drop? And you sell here, or you sell here thinking that you'll buy the dip, and it doesn't go. You think it's going to go this low, but it doesn't go that low, and then it pumps. Somewhere along the way, you mess up. Even if you bought the absolute low, somewhere in this zone, you're going to mess up because it's boring, because it takes so long. And preparation for that boringness, thinking in your head, buy and hold for years, plural. I think that's something that we need to get in practice here. Immediate gratification is on the brain. It's on the menu. It's to be desired because we have coins like TBB that are pumping ridiculous amounts at a short amount of time, because we have coins like Ansem that are pumping in a ridiculous amount of time, a bunch of meme coins. We've seen a resurgence in meme coins and meme culture. It's fun. You can make a lot of money that way. You can lose a lot of money that way too. But as fun as it is, you got to have your head screwed on right if you're talking about real investing. And real investing doesn't happen overnight, right? It takes years, plural. And in that time, you know, the difference between this price here and this price here, as far as time goes, is really only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, 7 weeks. But it took months of boring price action before that 7 weeks happened. The difference between this price and new all-time highs may be a matter of a few months, but there will be years of boring price action, or at least over a year of boring price action before we get to that exceptional growth phase. I don't know. I went from TA to preachy real quick, but weekly RSI sucks, stochastic sucks. The MACD it's incoherent. It actually doesn't matter. The weekly MACD will not help you in this format at all. I mean, the only thing that might help is if it crosses red, you can expect some bearishness. But even then, I bet we've got a false red cross, false green cross. I bet we get a false red cross too. Or maybe even not even a full cross. Maybe it stays green. But anyways, I digress. I've given you guys the blueprint. You know what it is. I will admit defeat, and we will even start to acknowledge that this could be the bear market low if we get above 67K. I'll start to turn bullish if we get above 66K. But until then, I remain, as I have for the past month now, bearish. Bearish overall. I've got nothing else. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all. Take care. Bye-bye.